Hello guys, Szwimer speaking. Welcome to LJPCBM episode number 922. Today we have to find DW episode 1, how it became DW. We have to begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. That's how it became the voice of DW on our. Okay.
Hi, I'm Jason Szwimer. I've been working in media for 5 years, but before all that, I played the voice of DW, the little sister and one of the main characters on the popular kids show, Arthur.
Okay. Makes sense.
Something wrong, dear?
That boy just said this word that made his mom drop something.
That's me, in one of the most controversial episodes of the series, the Bleep episode. In it, DW's trying to understand a swear word she's heard. If you're thinking, wasn't DW a girl? You're not alone.
Yeah. Okay.
I never ever would have realized that it was only males.
That's Paul
Wow.
Sun-Hyung Lee, an award-winning actor for his portrayal of Mr. Kim on the hit Canadian show Kim's Convenience. But
Okay.
Paul told me he didn't know DW was only played by male voice actors. I wasn't surprised because neither do most people I talk to. And while having been the voice of DW has meant different things to me over the years, I've only recently realized how much it's affected me. And what blows my mind is that there are these other guys, from the first voice of DW from when the show was created back in 1996, all the way to the kid who is currently the voice of DW, who might feel the same way. And I want to find out. I
That's
want
fun.
to gain perspective on my own journey of having been DW. And I think that one of the best ways to do that is to learn bit by bit from my conversations with each person.
Okay.
Think of this podcast as a happy mystery or a lighthearted and fun investigation.
Makes sense.
Arthur is the second longest running animated series, second only to The Simpsons. It
Okay.
has also garnered millions of viewers across 83 different countries. Other than the 4 Daytime Emmy Awards for outstanding children's programming it has earned, what makes Arthur so important is that it has proud Canadian roots, with the cast and production offices based in 2 Canadian cities, Montreal and Toronto.
Okay.
Okay, I'll get to the good part. Let me tell you about how I became the voice of DW. And I'll
Okay.
tell you all about it right after a word from our sponsors.
Okay. Okay.
Finding DW is independently produced by me, Jason Szwimer.
Okay.
If you want to support the show, the best way you can do that is by checking out my Patreon.
Okay.
Supporters like you help me spend more time doing what I love, creating this podcast for you to enjoy. Plus, when you support this podcast, you'll gain access to exclusive bonus podcast episodes that feature full-length interviews with each person who appears on my show. Head to patreon.com/findingdw. That's FINDINGDW. No punctuation.
Okay.
There's also a link in the episode notes. Thank you very much. And now, back to the show.
Okay. What was that? Okay, that's a Marvel show.
So
okay.
it's 2002, and my mom is driving home from work, stuck in traffic as usual. She's got the radio tuned in to CJAD 800, and they play an ad for an open casting call for a cartoon. They were looking for 10-year-old boys, and they didn't say for what show or in what capacity, but as my mom remembers it, it sounded like a fun adventure. Okay, so my mom gets home, but I'm not there. I'm at my neighbor's house playing video games.
Wow.
She calls me home, cutting my play date short. She hands me a landline phone and a Berenstain Bears book. They want you to say your name and read part of the book. And I do. They liked what they heard from me. So they called me in for an in-person audition. We walk into what I remember looked like an old Victorian home, but the inside is all set up like a recording studio. They walk me into a small recording booth, complete with those big radio headphones and a stand in front of the microphone with a script on it. In front of me, separated by a glass window, I could see a room of about 3 producery types.
Mm-hmm.
They have me do a read of the lines, and then one of the voices comes on over my headphones and says, "That was great. Now we're going to play you some of what DW sounds like."
Arthur, look! Somebody's returning a big book!
So that was DW, and here's what you sound like.
What's the big deal about pants?
Wow.
Everyone wears them!
They sounded almost exactly alike. They say, "Do you think you can match that?" And I say I can. I'm back in the hall with my mom, and we're walking out the door. One of the producery guys catches up to my mom and asks if I have an agent. She says, "Well, wait, you mean he has the part?" And he says, "Well, yeah." Pretty soon afterwards, scripts start arriving in the mail. And that is how I became the voice of DW.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Who better to talk to the guys who played the voice of DW than one of the former voices of DW? I understand the strangeness of this entire thing because I've lived it. Who else can understand the specific type of quote-unquote fame associated with being a cartoon character?
Uh-huh.
When it's not your face or even your adult voice people know, but
Yeah.
it's yourself as a child they're excited about.
Yes.
Not only that, but it's DW.
It's
Arthur
CW.
was such a massive part of our childhood. So that's why we freaked out, because I was like, I just like felt this like ownership. I would literally just like tell people, I know DW.
Right.
Like, I thought it was so cool to me because it was everything as a kid. Arthur was like, it was what you ran home to watch.
That's my pal Michael Musey, who plays Terrence on Kim's Convenience. I talked to him about what it's like being an actor on a popular Canadian show, and he couldn't help talking to me about how excited he was when he found out I was DW. And you know what? That's kind of how it's been for me my whole life. When you meet me, I'm just a regular person. But at any moment, that can all change. Because I can reveal my secret. That I used to be a female cartoon aardvark, and it'll blow your mind.
Wow.
In my mind, I thought you were like, I just met you and you were this stranger. And then when I found that out, I was like, you're my friend.
While talking to my friend Michael, he asked me,
Can you still do the voice?
Sadly, no, I can't. See, the way it used to work is I would pitch up my voice slightly like this, which now just sounds...
Sounds terrible.
Unfortunately, I've grown up and now my voice just isn't as cute as it used to be.
Uh-huh.
Which is one of the weirdest parts about this whole thing for me. From my perspective, people get excited about how I played the voice of DW, which is something I literally can't do anymore. I feel completely disassociated from the whole thing. It's almost like it happened to someone else. It feels like as time goes on, Arthur is only getting more and more popular. DW memes are shared on TikTok. Chance the Rapper released his song Wonderful Every Day, a remix of the Arthur theme song in 2014.
Oh.
My point is, it's hard to move on from something so lasting and persistently relevant to popular culture.
Uh-huh.
I used to try and outrun my past of having played DW, but
I
now I'm
see.
fully leaning into it. I've got to meet those other guys who played DW too.
I
Possibly
see.
one of the most annoying characters in the history of animation.
Yes.
Paul
Yes.
from Kim's Convenience again.
And it makes sense too, because at a young age, your voice is of a certain meter, and as you age up, your voice drops, and then you're out. I mean, if somebody else came in and started playing up instead of me, and then I had to watch that, I don't think I could.
Really?
Oh, I don't know. It'd be weird. When you used to be the guy, and you're not that guy anymore, it's like, well, why do I need to watch this?
You know, I have to agree with this voice of DW, Jason Szwimer, and I sometimes do kid voices, sometimes I don't, just to make more up for it, to this former voice actor, and now podcaster, just to let you know about it, and yeah, it just so saddens me, continue on.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a bit of that, a bit of ego involved in there.
Eventually I'm going to talk to the kid that's currently DW, and that's kind of how I feel about it.
Uh-huh.
I'm so curious if it'll feel like I'm talking to myself when I was 10, and then part of me will feel like, ooh, this is a fun thing that you're doing right now. Like, I hope you're enjoying it. Because it stays with you.
Yeah, that's really. I mean, and that'd be awesome too. It'd be sort of like, yeah, like talking to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the end of the day, you're kind of like, you're helpless.
Yeah.
Because you're not involved in that anymore. And then there's a part of you that hurts. Because you're like, oh, I'm not a part of this anymore.
No.
And I think that would be devastating.
I can't wait to share this story with you. I hope you liked what you heard. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me, Find DW, former actor, Jason Szwimer. So that was, Find DW episode 1, How I Became DW. What did I think about this episode? I think it was amazing. So far, this episode was a success. That episode just reacts episode number 922. Hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned. The next one's going to be episode 2 of Find DW, the first DW. Until next time, Sue Joseph, bye, peace out, baby. We can always react, guys, soon. Till eventually saying out. See ya.
Given unto me this life I'll never take for granted, and given all the time I failed to really understand it, I never sought to meet the maker of reality, the one who gave the life that which is always happening, but I tried all the time. I ask, why me? Why was I the one to see things as I do under the moonlight and the sun? Perception is the question, and the giver holds the key.